Hello, gladiators. This is your test correction key. So you will have all the answers for your tests for section 1. You need to have your test correction sheet handy, and you're going to fill it out completely as you're doing your corrections. So since this is section 1, you're going to put section 1 in this column here. Then you're going to put the problem that you're doing directly underneath it. Show all your work in the column that says show work. We're going to put the right answer in the correct answer column, and you need to tell me what error you made so that you can fix it in the future. So what I don't want to see in the error I made column is something like I forgot to do this, I don't know what I'm doing, I made a careless mistake. We want to know exactly what you did. Tell me what that careless mistake was. Tell me what you forgot to do. Tell me you didn't multiply instead of telling me you don't know what's going on. So make sure you fill this out completely. So we're working on number 1. We're given the fraction. Okay, so we're looking at 5/8. And I need to get the decimal form of that. We can do a couple of different things. The easiest of which is going to be just to divide this out. So I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. We're at 5 divided by 8. Well, 5 doesn't go into 8, so we need to put a decimal and a few zeros. 8 goes into 5 0 times. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 8 goes into 20 2 times. And I'm just going to bring that right up here. And we're going to bring down another 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So our answer in the decimal column is 625 thousandths. Now, if I have 625 thousandths, we want to turn this into a percent. What I need to do is multiply by 100. Now, when I multiply by 100, what I'm really doing is moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So I've got 625 thousandths, and I move the decimal 2 places to the right. That gives me my percent as 62.5%. For number 2, we're given the decimal form, which is 45 hundredths. We're going to write the fraction. So it's a 3-step model for taking our decimal and making it a fraction. So we're going to say it 45 hundredths, then we're going to write it 45 over 100, and then we're going to simplify. We're going to divide by 5 on the top and on the bottom. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So my answer is 9 over 20. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is turning the decimal into a percent. And we're just going to do that right here. So we multiply by 100 and makes that 45%. For number 3, we're given 35% in the percent column, so we need to make that a decimal. Well, we work backwards from what we did from turning a decimal to a percent in number 2. So we're starting with the decimal here. Since a whole number has a decimal between the whole number and the tenths position, in this case 35 wholes, so we need to divide by 100, which moves the decimal 2 places to the left. So this gives me 0 and 35 hundredths. Now, we need to turn the decimal into a fraction, so we're going to say it 35 hundredths, and then we're going to write it 35 hundredths. And then we're going to simplify. They're both divisible by 5 again, which gives me 7 over 20, which is my fraction. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, decimals, fractions, percents. All right, for number 4, we need to order the integers so we have to compare them, and to compare them, we need to put them in the same format. So, I mean, that's not necessary, but it really makes it easy to compare. So, I'm going to put them in the decimal format. So, 6.5 or negative 6.5 becomes negative 6 5/10. 7 1/4, 7.25 is already in decimal form. 6 1/4 is going to be 6 1/4. Negative 5 58 hundredths is already in decimal form. So now we need to look at this one and this one. So we're going to have to divide those out. 7 goes into 46. 7 goes into 46 6 times. And at this point, I'm going to put a decimal and some zeros. 7 goes into 40. 7 goes into 40 5 times. Seven goes into 50 7 times. And I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because I only need a number to the hundredths position. These numbers up here, the farthest place value is hundredths, so I'm going to take them all to the hundredths position, and I erased that, so I apologize. 6.57 for 46 over 7, and that leaves me 84 over 9. And I can already stop on this one because 9 is higher than anything I've got. So then I'm going to put them in sequence. Negative 6.5 is first. And then negative 5 5/8. Negative 5 58 hundredths. I apologize for reading that wrong. So I've got this one. And I've got this one. Now, I need the closest number to 0, which is 6 1/4. 46 over 7 is the next highest number. 7 25 hundredths. And then the last one is 9. I'm sorry, let me put this in the original form. 84 over 9. And these numbers are in order from least to greatest. Number 5 asks us to explain why negative 11 is less than negative 7, but the absolute value of negative 11 is greater than negative 7. And this is really simple, but you have to explain both. So why is negative 11 less than negative 7? Well, negative 11 is farther from 0 in the negative direction. So I know since the magnitude is higher that it's a lower or a less value number. So that's why negative 11 is less than negative 7. But as far as the absolute values, it's exactly the opposite. The absolute value of negative 11 makes it positive 11. The absolute value of negative 7 is positive 7. So in the positive direction, the higher the magnitude, the greater the value. So 11 is greater than 7 because the magnitude is greater. Number 6 says, what is the difference between the absolute value of point X and the absolute value of point Z? Well, point X is here, and that's -6. So I need the absolute value of -6. And point Z is here, so I need the absolute value of Z, which is 8. And it's asking me to take the difference between the two, so I'm going to take the difference. The absolute value of -6, I'm sorry, is 6, and I subtract the absolute value of 8, which is 8. Okay. Now, 6 minus 8, the answer to that is -2. So the correct answer is -2. We need to put the subtraction in the order that it's given to us, X and then Z, because subtraction is not commutative, and we talked about the commutative property. Subtraction doesn't commute, so we cannot move the order of the numbers because we don't come out with the same answer. And the last question in section 1, explain 2 methods you can use to convert fractions to decimals. Well, the first method that you were shown on the original video of converting fractions to decimals to percents was equivalent fractions. Okay, and in equivalent fractions, you take a fraction, and we're going to convert it into a fraction of equivalent value that has some type of place value for our denominator. So in this case, I'm going to make it a denominator of 100 because I can make that a decimal very easily. 1 times 25 is 25. So now I just read it 25 hundredths and I make it my decimal. So that's how we do that. Method 2 is division. So in division, we're going to take that same fraction, 1/4, and we're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 4 goes into 20 5 times, and we get the decimal form. All right. Make sure you fill out your correction form correctly and bring that to your retest session for section 1. Have a great day.